Hello, I think we're on. I think we're on live. Not 100% sure if all this is working all right. This is a bit of a... Right, okay. I can see it coming through now. Welcome. Hello to... Hello, I think we're on. Hold on, I'll switch this off here. I think we're on live. I've got this on and I'm going to have to mute it, otherwise it's going to be... Sure if all this is working all right. This is a bit of a... Give me a second. Welcome. Hello to... I think we're on. Switch this off here. This on, and I'm going to mute it. Okay, that's got it. So I was hello Ozzy hello Jason, how you doing? So today, what we're talking about today's live stream Wednesday, and we had a couple of comments. I had a couple of comments from people over the last while between this live stream and the previous one. I'm sorry the photo behind me is out of focus. I was playing with the settings today and something went horribly wrong, and I haven't had a chance to fix it. I've been frantically messing around the last few minutes and couldn't get it to. I had it all set up today. It was wonderful as usual, and it came out to be yeah, like that, unfortunately. But anyway, so the questions we had this week were one of them comment was that it's going to sink. The other question was, why did I choose that particular place to build a house? Why did I choose that particular plot of land? So there's two questions there really this week I'm going to answer. One being the it's going to sink question, and the other one is why did I pick that? So we'll say hello in the chat if you're in there, and I will answer if I spot it. Okay. Greetings, Escanotos. Ozzy Spy is my moderator. You can see him there. So the question on is it going to sink? Well, no, it's not going to sink. It was never going to sink. So why is it not going to sink? What's the deal with that? Well, the ground is clay. I know this to be a fact because if you look at next to the ground there is a big pond, and that big pond is about 300 meters long. It's one of a whole series around the area, and those are all around about 2 meters deep. And hello there, Batkutrezifep. So the ponds were all dug out for a pottery. They were digging clay to make pottery things. I don't know, bricks, I think. Those other things. There was quite a number of potteries in there at one time. They're all 2 meters deep, roughly. My land sits about 1 meter higher than that. I haven't tested it with a theodolite, but I kind of can see that it's about 1 meter higher than that. So I knew there was 3 meters of clay beneath my foundation. Now, I did put in piles for a living prior to my mini stroke. Now I'm not working. I know about piles. That this is what I do here in St. Petersburg. I've put thousands and thousands and thousands of, I couldn't count how many thousands of foundations I've done over the years. And I know when I hit solid clay like that, I know I need to go down 2 meters. Now the frost line in St. Petersburg is supposed to be 1.20 meters, roughly. In Stary Russa, where I'm building that in Novgorod Oblast, it's nowhere near that. You'd be lucky if you get 80 centimeters. Well, in practice, from building practical foundations and putting in practical piles, and I've done it in midwinter at -24, the coldest I ever did it, very cold. Even so, it does not get that deep. It gets to about 60 centimeters. And that's the maximum I've ever come across. But usually, in midwinter in St. Petersburg and Novgorod, probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 centimeters is the frost line. That's it. You're not going to get anything else other than that. So I know I've got to beat that. These piles I put in were actually 2 meters deep, so full 2 meters in, apart from one single pile, which hit a rock, and that is at 180 centimeters. So if you put in piles in Russia and in St. Petersburg, I'm not saying about other areas. I don't know other areas. I've only worked in St. Petersburg, Novgorod, and this area, all the oblasts around here. I've done every area you can think of. Here it's clay generally. If you go into Viborg, that way, that direction, then you're going to hit sand and stone. If you're in St. Petersburg, you're usually going to hit clay. There is places where it's very, very stony, white chalkstone. Actually, there's quite a place not too far from here in Krasnoselov. That's an area which is kind of 50-50 whether you're going to hit stone or not. But generally clay. So I have a lot of experience in clay. And when we put the piles in, we don't just set them up. Maybe on the videos you see there, stick them in there and then whack them in, and that's it. But it's not actually quite like that. Actually, when we're beating the piles, we're watching how with each. So we know the weight of the hammer on that machine was a ton, or it was actually 950 kilograms, just short of a ton. I know that if I hit the pile and it goes any more than 2 centimeters, I've potentially got a problem. I know that this pile won't be stable. So I'm watching that constantly. We're both watching that all the time and seeing how deep the piles go in from what. And what happens is as the pile goes in deeper and deeper and deeper, it slows down. So you might start off at 5 centimeters going in with the first beat, bump, soft stuff at the top, and then it'll slow down. And as you get to the bottom, you're looking for really no more than 2 centimeters of each hit with a hammer. You're looking for no more than 2 centimeters. On my piles, we were hitting almost half a centimeter, 5 millimeters. So I know that is absolutely solid ground. I know that those piles will be there for, longer than me anyway. I'll be long under the ground before they come up. So yeah, 2 meters in St. Petersburg and surrounding areas, or any area where there's clay. Siberia, place like that, different story altogether. They do things differently. They have permafrost and stuff like that, stuff I don't know about. I can only tell you about St. Petersburg. So that's why I know these piles are not going to sink. They're not going to come back out of the ground because, one, I know that the weight displacement on that clay is enough to hold up the house. I know they're not going to rise out of the ground with frost because I know they're deeper than the frost line, they're 2 meters down. Even if it was, say you got to the maximum of 1.20 meters in St. Petersburg, we're still 80 centimeters below that. So there's no possibility of them ever coming out of the ground. It's just they're solid. So that's why I know that it ain't going to sink and it ain't going to come out of the ground. It's simple science. That's how we're doing it. That's how we've done it for years here, and never ever a problem. Other areas, don't know, can't say. Impossible for me to say. Say hello in the chat if you want. This chat will be live everywhere. I'll do this every Wednesday. There's no backing out now. I've set myself up for Wednesdays, 10 o'clock, so it catches everybody. Anybody wants to ask questions, any comments from the week, stick them in there, and I'll answer them while we're on here this live. So that brings me around to the question: why did I choose? Why did I choose that spot? What's special about that spot? Why? Well, if you didn't know, if you haven't followed my live streams, you haven't followed my videos, you may know that here in St. Petersburg, I'm actually partially off grid, and that's not something I say with a smile. It was never intended to be that way. When we got this land, it was planned that it would be, the category would be changed, some whole technicalities with the registration and category of land, but we were promised it would change and that there'll be electric within X amount of months. I forget now. As it turned out, it wasn't. It turned out to be 7 years before we got electric. So in that time, we ended up with a generator, which is horrendously expensive to run a generator in winter. One, they eat electric, they eat petrol like it's going out of fashion. Really eat it away. So the alternative is to use solar panels and wind turbines. So I got solar panels. I got 2. I'm thinking, this is going to be okay. We'll be okay with the solar panels, and later on I added a wind generator, Chinese one. That actually came off the roof and smashed into pieces, the first one. So then I invested in a super duper wind turbine, 2 kilowatt thing, straight from America. Big motor, big heavy motor on it. Took me a lot to get it up onto the roof, not onto the pile. We had a big post up here. It was about 12 meters high. It's a very heavy generator. Got it up there. There's just no wind here in St. Petersburg. There's in winter and the occasional strong gust, but apart from that, no. St. Petersburg, forget wind turbines. They're just not effective. It did eventually fall down. The actual whole thing came down just like the first version. Didn't put a hole in the roof, luckily enough. It only snapped one blade. But after that, we had it mounted on the roof for a while. And then by the time I'd sort of got everything worked out and got it all running, they came and put electric on. So it's a long process to get that up and running, and not effective. But off-grid systems, I don't know. I can't recommend them. I can't recommend any electric. If you're in an area where there is no electric, maybe it's worth it. But to be honest, by the time you've paid for all the batteries, and you need a lot of batteries, each battery you're looking at $200, and you're looking at 5 for 1 kilowatt of electric. You can imagine 1 kilowatt of electric, 5 batteries. So you're looking at a battery bank. To make it effective, I would think you'd be looking at a battery bank of many batteries. You're looking at sort of 50 or 100 batteries, $200 a pop. You can imagine the cost of it. How far to Lake Baikal? Far. That's what I can say. I don't know. Never measured it. Maybe Aussie Spire there, EMAP built answer that one. Right, he's in the chat. But I don't know. So that's, electric on that is kind of a no winner on the wind turbine. If you're in some other country and you're looking at wind turbines, I don't know. To me, the cost of the wind turbines are easy to buy. You can buy them easily. They're cheap, and whatever. And the charge controller and all the rest of it. It's the battery. It's the storage of it. There. It's there we go. It tells you there 5,700 kilometers. The batteries are a killer. They're just way too expensive to make economic. In Russia, cost of electric at the moment is around about 4.8 rubles a kilowatt hour. In the night time, and daytime it's around about 6 rubles, which is just about 5 cents or something like that. 5 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's dirt cheap. That means it's not feasible to run solar panels and wind generators. Hence why you don't see them. You just don't see them very often. Get the odd. I think there's a couple I did a live stream across the way at the Dachas, and there was 3 panels on the roof there, but that's about it. They're very rare beasts indeed. I've got one on the Batovka up on the build. If you look, I did a little video on that. There's one up there running a little one battery, and it's just to keep the cameras alive at night time or the daytime. The security cameras. That's all. So why that? Yeah. So rambling a bit. So why did I choose that particular land? So coming from this off-grid situation where we had no electric, we've got electric now, or 3-phase now, but we're still on well water. We are still on with no gas, so but we're on wood central heating. So we've got a big wood burner around just over there, off camera. A big wood burner that heats central heating and gives us hot water and all that. That's free timber, so we get it free. But again, it's a heck of a bind. Cutting firewood is not pretty like they show you in the YouTube videos. Cutting nice firewood, girl with a big sword, short skirt, chopping firewood. Reality, nothing like that. It's a long, slow, hard grind, and it's constant. If you're cutting your own firewood, you are constantly at it, because as soon as one lot's finished, you've got to cut the next lot for it to dry. So basically, you cut it in the winter and dry it over the summer period. So you're constantly cutting in the winter time, and it's just never ending. I suppose you could do it in the summer, enough for winter, then cut another load in the summer. But it dry in time, who knows? It takes a long time to dry timber. It takes a long time to cut it, haul it, stack it, then bring it all into the house. You're constantly moving in and out. and with constantly fetching firewood in and out. Every time you go outside to fetch firewood, you're leaving a trail behind you, leaving a mess behind you. It just never stops. So yeah, not my idea of fun at all. Off grid, nah, no thanks. So that's one of the main reasons why we're moving to Novgorod, is the off-griddedness that we don't want anymore. We want full infrastructure. So that plot of land, how did I come to find it? Well, I did a lot of searching for a plot of land. We've got friends up in Novgorod anyway, and they told us, oh, there's cheap land up here. Why don't you come and have a look? So we did have a look in Velika Novgorod, which is Big Novgorod, the main one, if you like, and it was not what we wanted. It was just too far away from infrastructure, which is also another problem in St. Petersburg. If you go anywhere outside the city, anywhere else in outlying regions, chances are you're not going to get gas. You're not going to get mains water or anything like that, or main sewerage or anything like that. You're all off grid. So you've got septic tank, wells, bore wells, that kind of stuff, off grid. Not my idea. So that plot of land up there, hunted it down, got it, found it, and I took a long time. It's in the right category of land, so this is what's called EGS. It means individual. I think it's individual duties for. It basically means for building, for full-time living properties. So in England, I suppose the closest thing would be freehold. Freehold land would be the closest thing I can think of. So you're not tenancy agreement or anything like that. You're not renting the land; it's yours completely. So that's the first reason. Second reason is it's very close to the town. So basically, within 10 minutes, I can walk to the nearest shop. 10 minutes and about 20 minutes there and back. Ideal. So if car's broken down or whatever, you're only a short walk and you're at the shop. Within 15 minutes, I can be within the town centre, where there's every kind of facility, all the usual delivery companies, all the supermarkets, everything you can think of. So really, really close to town. And that actual plot, although if you look at the thing, it looks like it's really rural and really in the countryside. Well, it is really rural or in the countryside, but it's just tacked on to the end of the town. The border of the town just covers in that part of my land, that my plot. Because of that, we've got gas. There's central water. There's three-phase electric. There's no main sewerage, but main sewerage in Russia is kind of in the regions is kind of non-existent. Most houses do not have main sewerage. Most of them are on septics in Russia. There's very few that connect into main sewerage here. Septic's just a way of life. Just to put up with it. It's not a big deal. You can, you create your septic system properly. You know, no problem. I will go through all that when I'll be making those videos later on. Food price, egg milk cheap, diesel London, $3 beef terrible. Milk cheap plus USA plus diesel, egg milk cheap. I don't know. So yeah, that's the reason why we bought that land, because it is the infrastructure. So we've got all the utilities there, we've got full infrastructure, it's the right category of land, and it's just perfect. It's a really quiet town, it's a really nice place, it's a really clean place, it's safe, it's a resort town, so with a lot of history there, a lot of history. We have if you don't know where Stara Russa is, look at it on the map, and you'll see that we're very close to Lake Ilmen. Lake Ilmen is about 50 kilometers long, so huge lake. They call it the inland sea of Europe. It really is massive. Not very deep, actually, about 12 meters deep at its deepest point. But very dangerous if you go into the center on a boat. But that's the main reasons why I'm going, is because better infrastructure, much better infrastructure, and a quiet way of life out of St. This is quiet here. I mean, yeah, we're in a forest. But what I can tell you is that the main road from here is about just over 3 kilometers down to Talinska Chaussee, or I think it's Krasilski Chaussee. This is the main road. Um, I never noticed it before, but you can actually hear the hum of the traffic from here in the daytime. I never even noticed it, honestly. Never realised it until we get to Novgorod and we got to our plot of land. And what you hear at night is nothing. It is absolutely silence. It is phenomenally quiet. It's so tranquil. There is no noise, and you don't realise till you've been away from here how quiet that place is, or how noisy this place is. Really is a big difference. So that's basically the reasons why I'm moving into Novgorod. Infrastructure, a peaceful way of life. It's a very, very beautiful place, is Staya Russa. We don't see a lot of people riding motorbikes and scooters, especially in winter. Yeah, I suppose so. In Novgorod, in the summertime, there's a couple of motorbikes and scooters go past in the daytime, in the evening time actually. But they're just kids going home. They live in the next village and just travel up and down, no problem. Noisy bloody motorbikes, but only for like half an hour or so. It's not a big deal. So yeah, not a big thing there. If there's anything you want to ask me, now's your chance. While I'm live, I'm only keeping this live going as long as there is people on or there is questions. I'll talk about my next plans, what we're planning what the next stage of the build. Next stage of the build. If you follow the videos, it was we got to the top plate. Almost. We've got a bit of the top plate done. I got a bit of the top plate done. So when we go back, it's on with the rest of the top plate and the rest of the studs in the walls and the big window and all that. That's quite a big job to do. And then we're on with the roof structure, the roof support, and then the roof. So hopefully this year, fingers crossed, we will get to the roof. Not sure how much of the roof will get done, but should get up to the roof level. That's kind of the plan where I'm at. Over the winter period, yes, I'm developing my videoing skills because they are, from series 1 and 2, they weren't good. They weren't really designed for YouTube. They were filmed kind of on the hop from Telegram, really as a kind of instructional videos for immigrants and people wanting to build here. So there's a lot of technical details in there that are not YouTube friendly. So the plan is when I go back, that when I record the next stage of the build, that videos will be done very differently, more cinematic, more for YouTube, basically better videoing. The technical stuff probably I will do a video blog or video live stream every day at the end of each build day and tell you exactly what I've done. So you can always come back to that and see the technical bits there. But the actual videos for there will be a lot different in their format and how they're being filmed from different angles and stuff. So I am working on. There's a video tomorrow that I have put together of a time frame of the flooring. That's out tomorrow, I think at 3 o'clock. I'll not be here tomorrow. I'm going to Krasny Selo. I've got to fix one of the. I haven't got to, but I've promised I'll go and help fix one of the pile machines. The electrics have gone in it, and so I promised I'd go and have a look at that for my boss. So that's the plan tomorrow. But the time frame will be out tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So keep an eye on that, and it should be hopefully better than the first time lapse, which was a bit but I guess in my excuses I could say that the time lapses were cut from original videos that were complete. I didn't have the raw material. Season 2, halfway through, I started saving all the raw material. I think it was day 3 I started saving the material. So the first bit, the sill plate, was they didn't keep the original raw filming, so the time lapse had to be cut from existing videos, so not the best. The third one will be the walls, which is better because I had the raw material, I was able to cut that a lot better. So hopefully people enjoy that a bit better than some of the other ones. Season 3, when we go back to the filming, will be much better. But I am putting together a mini series on off-grid systems here in the house here. So how we get water from the well into the house, and how it works. It's going to be an interesting video, but filmed very differently again, cinematically, rather than I'm not going to do an instruction video. And basically what happens is the water comes from the well and it's controlled by a mercury tilt switch that I've got attached to the tank in the loft, to create a simple on-off switch for the pump, so I don't have to keep switching the pump on and off. Bit of an automatic system. So I'm making a video on that. That'll be coming out hopefully in 2 weeks time. So I've got this. So tomorrow is the time lapse on the floor, and then the third time, well, that's next Thursday, it'll be the time lapse on the walls, and then the week after that we should be into, my just switched itself off. Hold on a minute. It switched itself off. Why it does that, I don't know. Here we are. I don't think the battery's dead. So yes, the battery's not dead, but it's it won't be long. So yeah, I'm working on these videos, and the water one should be coming out in about 11 days or so, when I've filmed it and cut it and all the rest of it. So a bit of work there to do with that. So keep an eye on the channel. If anybody's watching and you like this stuff that I'm producing, or the cinematic stuff that I'm going to produce, don't forget, not even worried about likes, please share the channel, get the channel out there. It's growing, and if anybody shares it, that's probably the biggest ask I could have you. Please share the channel so that it gets out there, and other people who are coming to Russia or interested in this stuff get looking and see what I've created, especially with the off-grid stuff here. It's kind of unique. I don't think anybody else has ever used a mercury tilt switch in the way that I've used it. It's unique to me, so that'll be something very, very different. Also then we'll go through other systems, the wood burner system, central heating, we'll go through all that in other videos as well. So that's kind of the plan as it is. So without much more ado, there's not going to stay on here long, like I said, and I wanted to keep this short and sweet. Every Wednesday, quick question and answer session, and then wait till next week. And if anybody's got any questions, put them in comments or put them on a community post so that I can answer them later on in the next live stream, which will be next Wednesday. There's other live streams, probably dog walking, all the rest of it that I do, but for the dedicated sit down in the warm live stream, that's on a Wednesday. Put in a community post, and I'll answer it on the following. So for me, it's good night.